Oh my goodness, how much do I love that, to see Oliver out and walking around the world of solutions as a way to bring an end to that fantastic opening keynote. Bravo, Oliver and team, and all 40 of the people here at the conference who were able to look under their seats and get a great Bang & Olufsen set of earbuds. That is fantastic. Great to have you back with us here in the TV studio in the middle of the world of solutions at the RAI Amsterdam. I'm Steve Moulter. He's got to be like right out there somewhere. We can't quite see him back where he is behind us here, behind these flags. But back here with Cedric de Vulter, Rob Boyd, Alpa Tankaria, we have just wrapped a terrific opening keynote. Oliver, G2, Martin Honorog, just so much great information, welcoming customers and partners and designers, developers, directors, major announcements here in that keynote, all of the reasons why this event, Cisco Live 2025 Amsterdam, all Cisco Lives, so compelling for every one of us. So I want to take a moment with my fellow co-hosts to look at a couple of highlights and inspirations and the topics that we know we're going to be hitting on again and again and again throughout the live broadcast and beyond. Cedric, great to have you here with me in the studio to kick things off.
Good to be back.
I want to go with what Oliver said right at the top, that was then repeated by G2. I think Martin repeated it as well. I think Anurag repeated it as well. Business resilience is actually digital resilience, all powered by secure global connectivity, accelerated with AI, which we're talking about all the time. Growing our businesses. It is so much more than just, I want more sales, I want more customers. It's foundational. What do we do to drive our businesses forward?
I actually thought you were going to talk about the Bang & Olufsen headset.
Well, we'll talk about that later. I know you and something free. Anytime you can get something free, you're in on that. But
No. I think, to answer your question, Steve, yes, we are evolving, and it's going rapid, like faster than we could ever imagine, right? And as you said, it's not just about extra sales. All of this innovation also brings other not so nice things to us. Extra threats, like security concerns, compliance. And I feel that our engineering teams really take those kind of issues, I would call them, to heart while developing the actual products. I'm just trying to think, I think they talked a little bit about how we are, I loved it when the partner from BT came on stage and talked about the fact that they are powering the critical infrastructure in the UK and the emergency services. And the great thing is with Cisco right now that we are actually helping them to do that, right? We're being there to help them really keep their network up and running, and we're literally saving lives doing that. And I think that's really great. But if you could imagine that the network would go down during that time. That's something that we even don't want to imagine, but we're so engraved in that, and there's so many more threats and so on. And Cisco is, as I said, kind of taking that to heart, really thinking 2 steps ahead to kind of help us shape this new era of AI.
It's so true. So Anurag really hit on that. Everything that you just said, which is so right, which he said, if we're going to power AI, because of course, every application coming on board is going to be an AI-first application. We can't think outside of that anymore. Those days are past, we're done. But to power those applications, it's going to require high output, low latency, rapid flow-through operations, right? He said a powerful network behind the scenes to keep those new apps running and performing for the AI future. That's exactly what you were just talking about. It's great to come up with how is AI going to help us? What is going to power AI? It's the network, it is the backbone.
Exactly. In order to have AI, you need that network there as a critical foundation to let everything run, to connect the unconnected, right? And we have great technologies at Cisco. We have, as you said already, our Wi-Fi 7 stuff is coming out, and we have the AI-ready data centers. We're taking it to the next level of collaboration. I really loved when they talked about the Cisco the Cisco WebEx AI agent, right? I don't know how many times you've been on hold, Steve. I've been a lot of the times, and it's just really mind-blowing how fast our technology is evolving right now. To basically we'll just connect you to an AI agent. They will answer your question super fast, quite correctly, right? 80 to 90% of the time. And if it's not the case, don't worry. We'll just send you through someone who can answer your question, a human, that have all the information ready, what you talked about already, so they can just go and basically solve that question. And if you then think further, this all sounds pretty complex. right?
It does. Well, Caitlin did such a great job in the demo,
Yeah.
right, of breaking down the differences between how AI is going to be able to handle those details as opposed to the standard stock script responses, right?
Yeah, but also we're launching a studio around it where basically teams that do not have potentially AI like kind of resource at their company yet, they can use a very simple interface to build an AI agent. So that saves time, that saves money. That's a huge win, I think, for the AI era right now.
Fantastic. And Cisco Live, it's the place to do it. Oliver said at the top, I quoted him here, Cisco Live is clearly the best place to learn and to get ready for the future.
And we are the
40
only
years.
company that has so many things on the stack, so many technologies. We can do security, we can do collab, we can provide a data center, we can provide a network. I don't know any other company that can do that on this planet.
Love that, love that. We are going to head back out to World of Solutions. I can see Alpa and Rob hanging out here. Hello, friends. What were your responses? What were your thoughts about the keynote?
Well, the first thing I was going to mention, and should I be able to hear myself? For some reason I can't. I could hear Steve, so that's good. Oh, there we go, we're back. Thank you, Kim. Got a wonderful crew here. I was actually just gonna ask you if this belt pack they have for our comm system makes my butt look big, because I'm trying to hide it under the...
We just hide it with the jackets, Rob. It's okay.
I tell you, there's a lot of stuff to figure out as we're doing here. What a ton of great information, especially, I think, in my opinion, answering some of the questions for us around, well, what is Cisco doing about AI? And as it was brought up, business resilience equals digital resilience. These things, and that makes a ton of sense. I think for a long time we've talked about how everyone is in a technology business. I don't care if you think you're in waste management, of course, and they know this, right? Especially at the upper levels. And so everybody's looking for answers. But I think what we've seen today with the smart switches, with the Pensando DPUs, into kind of redefining some new categories of equipment as we say, what does it look like to combine network security and the assurance that we need in these things that can move data at speeds that are expected for these GPUs. Now that's what I picked up on. I know you're focusing in some different areas, which is fine. What are your thoughts? What jumped out at you?
So just to follow up on that, actually, Rob, Cisco networking is the key. It's our platform, right? So fundamental. And it all started 40 years ago, and we're celebrating that today. Think about how far we've come the last 40 years and what more is to come. That is exciting, don't you think?
I'm glad you brought that up, because so when we saw that 40-year anniversary display, and it's here on the show floor, if you're here and you get a chance to walk through it, and of course there's online versions as well, you can see the very first product switch for the very first one that came out. It was around 1984, 86, and that story about the two Stanford researchers that just wanted to communicate, just wanted to reach from a DECnet to an IP-based network, and those two can't talk, and that's not what we want. Cisco comes in as an interpolator, interpretation. We started doing that with IBM, SNA, making those mainframes available on the network. And then fast forward, you forget how far we've come, because now we take a lot of that for granted as a lot of things have shifted, and we're moving on to the next 40 years of what can we do to take stuff on. So I could talk forever about this stuff, Steve, but I want to make sure, I think you're probably keeping track of the time for us, right?
Keeping track of the time, Rob, but again, you're our eyes and ears out there, so please, both of you, continue to look for people, gauge responses, listen in on the conversation happening here in the studio, but great insights from both of you, and I want to hear more about that. Cedric, let's talk about one of the most important, powerful things that Oliver was talking about at the top of the keynote, which is we know where we need to go, right? So we're now in the age of the AI agent. We're no longer building toward it. We're here. We've arrived. It's what do we do with it from now? And he gave kind of a couple of frightening concepts because there is a lot of fear around AI. So one of the things he was talking about, he said, without the network, the fact is most of the business models of multi-billion-dollar companies on this planet, they wouldn't exist. They're not here. But with that said, he also touched on some other scary statistics. At the moment, globally, 13% of companies feel that they are ready, that they are prepared for AI. He then compared that into Europe, 7%. Of companies in Europe today feel that they are ready for the AI era because the skills just aren't there. So part of what we're trying to do here at the show, and I think part of what the keynote was about, is how do we up-level those skills? How do we get people ready to take advantage, to overcome network limitations, to overcome those security concerns and get where AI needs to go?
Yeah, I think, Steve, first of all, Cisco Live is a really great place to be, to learn about how we can solve all of that, right? I think other parts, which is really important as well, is actually like we have programs that are deeply ingrained in our culture. I'm talking to you about the Cisco Networking Academy, where we really build programs as well, with a focus on AI, with a focus on security, which I think are really key topics right now, to really kind of enable people, but also to give them the tools so that they can do that in their organizations, and we're building the talent of the future. Because if you think about it, like, we all use our chat GPT, like probably more than ever. Imagine a business situation where you would put confidential information into that, and it trains the model and it learns and so on. You're basically like trading away, or like you're basically giving away your trade secrets, right? So if as an employer, these are additional things that you have to think about, like about compliancy and like privacy and everything. So also here on the show floor, we're going to talk about a little bit about that. I think later in some sort of in some sort of center stage session. These names always keep changing.
Right, of course.
Right? But yeah, so I'm really excited to hear about these things and kind of like to upskill myself a little bit about this kind of fast-paced revolution, I would even call it.
I'm glad you brought up NetAcad, because a lot of this is when you're network native, right? We talk about tech native, network native generations as well. As new people continue to come to the show floor, we said 37% are brand new. It's their first time out here at Cisco Live. A lot of these folks are becoming network native. Next up, we're going to have AI native, where people who are coming up through the ranks, like our NetAcad individuals, they're going to be utilizing AI from the time they're very young in school. They're going to bring it into the industry. It's going to make perfect sense, not like old guys like me.
Yeah, and I like to that, like, sometimes we forget that, right? We also, like, here on site, like, you can do a lot of certifications, like, a couple of days before the event starts. It's really cool. We have our certifications and learning area, like, a little bit further down in the world of solutions as well. I loved it that Oliver opened with, like, this kind of thanking the CCIE community, people who were here from the start in '93. That's minus 4 years from when I was born. I'll keep referring to it that way. We have 1,450 of them on site.
Yeah.
That's record-breaking.
That's CCI power, absolutely. Speaking of which, not CCIE necessarily, but I'm going to go out to Rob, who's out in the showcase. We're going to hear some direct, I think, individual reactions from the people that were here at the show, right, Rob?
Something about that. It's a little bit of reaction from the keynote, but it's also about, hey, can you educate Rob a little bit more on the security stuff that's happening there? And so I tracked down Rohan here, graciously volunteered. He is your product manager for network security, correct?
Product marketing, I lead product marketing for network security, yes.
All right, I'll tell you what, I wanted to ask you, what has been announced today and what's really different? Because it does feel to me like there's some, we're now seeing a clear direction on how Cisco's responding to this overwhelming AI onslaught in a good way, right? So I wonder if you could tell us what we're doing in security for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, really excited about the keynote today, G2 and Tom and others that they did. It's my first Cisco Live. I joined Cisco recently. It's been amazing. And the announcements around security, around hybrid mesh firewall, universal ZTNA, the new smart switches that we announced, all of that kind of is pointing towards, we want to provide security that is simple for the customers to use, gives a great user experience, and solves real customer problems, right?
And I don't know that you're going to be able to speak to the smart switches, and I don't want to draw you in another area, but it does feel like we're starting to embed some previously distinct technologies in a combined way,
right,
which I think, honestly, in my experience in security, is the only way anyone ever really wants security, is something that they don't notice.
Yes.
And so do you feel like we're moving in a direction of keeping security in a place where it's effective, but it's also conscious of its environment? Do your job, but only tell me if I need to know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think by kind of fusing security into the fabric of the network, right? We can provide this distributed security, these distributed enforcement points that provide security, the optimal security right around the workload. Tom called them baby firewalls, right? Right around the workload to stop that lateral movement, stop the attackers from getting in. That's the only way we can kind of provide security that actually works. And using this unified console that we talked about, that makes it easy for the operator to operationalize this, because there's no way you can manage all of these thousands, millions of enforcement points manually. Right. So using AI to automatically manage, deploy these enforcement points is another great area of innovation that we are investing in that just looks at security holistically, from the capabilities all the way to the operator and the experience that the operators are going to have.
Yeah, no, I agree with the strategy. I think we've always got to play from that strength of, we are connecting a lot of very important processing happening, but in the process of helping those connections, there's places for us to recheck a lot of things, a place for us to recheck security. As you mentioned, various places in the network, we've had different names for it over time.
Yeah.
but it feels like the volume that's coming through now is we also have to operate at a different speed.
Right.
And so the same tools that we're trying to protect ourselves from, we're using to also provide better protection.
Right.
And such as well. But I like, any other final thoughts on security and what's most important to remember?
I think what's most important to remember is, look, we are looking to provide kind of zero trust security holistically, kind of from the user to the application.
Keep your mic here.
So from the from the
Sure we don't
user
miss
all the
anything.
way to the application.
Yeah.
So protecting users wherever they are, and protecting applications wherever they live,
Right.
holistically, and using AI to kind of make sure that we provide the right security at the right point for our customers and partners.
Which is great, because I think there was a time when at Cisco, and maybe not all over the place, but we would somewhat ask you to re-architect around the security needs.
Right.
And what we're saying now is,
We meet you where you are.
We'll meet you where you are. Oh, I
meet
like
you
the
where
way
you
you
are.
put that.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Rohan.
All right. Thank you
Appreciate
very much.
You had a lot of activity here at the booth.
Yes.
Be sure and stop by. We're right here at the edge. Let's see, we've got security for AI, Cisco Defense, and we've got a lot of other experts around here so that you can ask more detailed questions about what was just announced or what you're just curious about because you've been working on it as you come in here. Lots of great stuff. It doesn't always get mentioned on the keynote stage, but definitely come back and check out the Cisco booth. Steve, I have no idea what our time is. I'll go back to you.
Good, Rob. We're about 5.5 minutes out from our first center stage session, so timing is great. Please thank Rohan for us as well. Excellent content. A great button that he put on at the end there, protecting everything from the user all the way out to the application. And it goes to one of the things that I found really powerful in G2's portion of the talk there, which was that compounding value. That idea that, and again, Rob and Rohan were just talking about it, everything, new thing that you buy, every new thing that you add in for Cisco should continue to add value to everything that you already own within Cisco, right? That's how we create that differentiation. So it continues to build and build. It's not just I buy something, it goes out of date, I get rid of it, I get something new. No, it adds that value, and it's that concept that he also mentioned of a relentless focus on excellence in every single product we build. It just works. You buy it and it works. And I'll mention one more thing. Kind of a moment of not only optimism, but cockiness, which I really like to hear from our leadership, is when G2 said, we're not just 10% better than our competition, we are magnitudes of order better, which means when you're just 10%, it's easy to say, well, I like who I'm already working with. Everything is working fine. I don't need to make big changes. You go to 100% better, 10 times that, and all of a sudden, it's irresponsible not to partner with Cisco, and I love that moment.
I feel like, Steve, it's a magnitude, but also I think so many companies and businesses around the world are looking at us to set a standard in this. They're looking at how are we at Cisco building our products, interacting with our customers, and so on. And the great thing is that at Cisco Live as well, every year, we have our Cisco on Cisco program, which is basically, it shows how we leverage our own technology inside of Cisco so that customers can learn about how it can be done for them, right? So we both explore the Cisco on Cisco angle, our own products in our own company, and then we explore that customer success stories, which is in like you kind of hearing it from a different angle from our customers as well. So I think that's really great, and I loved it how you said it. It's just so exciting to be part of this company at this point.
It is, and also to build on top of what you just said, up until I want to say up until June, when we had Cisco Live in the US, customer stories was still within the Cisco showcase. And all of a sudden we reached a point where there was such attention on how are people not only utilizing our products, but how are they expanding what we do here at Cisco, that they said, no, from now on, customer stories has got to have its own areas and its own thing. If you head to the back of the world of solution, it is really its own territory. You could just dive in and live. There are people who are hanging out for 2 hours back in customer stories.
Oh, was that you last night?
Man, that was me. No, I was here. You know that. But it is a very exciting time to be a member of Cisco, and I think you really get that sense of energy, not just from the executives and the leaders who come in here and speak from the keynote stage and the center stage, which we're headed to in just about 2.5 minutes now, but we can see it from all of the attendees.
Yeah, and also like even on, like you said, attendees, right? But also everyone on the showcase, every Cisco, like every one of my colleagues basically, like you can see the passion when they talk about these products. Like just now, like when Rob was interviewing on the showcase, like you can just really see like people are excited. People are excited to drive something. They're excited to see change, like to basically build something for the better. And I think that's really exciting to see as well. And it's just so great to be here. It's something that you, like if you're not here, like you should come next year.
I couldn't agree more. All right, so we're about 2 minutes from heading out to the next thing we're going to head to, away from Keynote and into Center Stage, and our first Center Stage session here at Cisco Live 2025 Amsterdam. So Center Stage, this is where you're going to hear all of the latest Cisco innovations, all the latest solutions. It is where we get to hear directly from Cisco leaders and customers and enjoy panel discussions, and all helping to drive better business impact and helping to keep us ahead of industry trends, including trends in AI. We're kicking off this week's sessions with operational Gen AI, practical applications of AI in and across the stack. We've got Shannon McFarland, who is our VP and head of Cisco DevNet. We've also got distinguished speakers with us. And Matt is here, head of strategy for Cisco DevNet. Apparently, we're not going to go to Center Stage. We're going to go back out before we go to Center Stage. Hey there, Alpha and Rob.
Hey, so guess where we are?
You'll have to tell me. Center Stage, maybe?
We are in the Immersive AI Hub, aren't we, Rob?
Well, and Immersive is dead on with this one. Yeah, so
Absolutely.
Did you get a feel for exactly what they're talking about? They've got these telescopes, they call
Yes.
it? Okay.
So the telescopes will help you navigate where you are on your AI journey in your business, which I find fascinating. You know, are you a pace setter? Are you somewhere in between? Are you a laggard? So you can have a walk around and just experiment and then explore.
Yeah.
How fascinating, right?
Well, we'll do that. Steve, we're going to go ahead and go back to you. I'm going to relax here in the wonderful environment they've set up here.
You relax in the environment. Again, so excited to head out to Matt and Shannon out in Center Stage. We're going to learn all about how Gen AI is impacting all of us in our organizations. Enjoy. We'll see you on the other side.